How about that for an intro, huh?
That's fantastic.
First ever podcast. Loving it. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Hi, my name is Dr. Brian Shoreline.
And I'm Dr. Heather Shoreline.
We are husband and wife, chiropractic and acupuncture all under one roof. It's kind of cool. So today, since this is the first ever podcast, what we're going to be talking about is a little bit of what it is that we do around here. So chiropractic, basically study of nerves, muscles, and bones. And I kind of take that very literally. So basically, chiropractic is a study of bones. Bones are really the scaffolding for which your entire musculoskeletal system attaches to. Afterwards, you've got the muscles. Like I said, it attaches to the bones there. And then really the nerves, they kind of coordinate and control the entire thing. So really the chiropractic profession is the study of how all three basically, work together there. I'm kind of like the nuts and the bolts or the hardware, if you will. So.
And acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine would be more of the software. So while my husband takes care of the physical aspect of things, I take care of the inner side of things. So you can think of the digestive system and your nervous system and, things like movement. So I can really help with like trigger points and that sort of thing. So I am the software and he is the hardware.
And together we can fix you.
That's right. We can fix just about anything. Bar any kind of crazy infectious disease, we can work with just about anything.
A lot of things. Yeah, little asterisks. Not all things are created equal. But
so let's talk about some of the things that we treat together, like neck pain, for example. If somebody comes in for neck pain, what could somebody expect as a treatment?
Well, you got to figure out why somebody's having neck pain to begin with. Again, is it nerves, muscles, or bones? So if it's, say, a facet issue, facets are the spinal joints, right? So sometimes there's a little flap of cartilage that pops out of place in there, and you get this sharp, stabby, achy pain that just, you can't turn your head the one way, you can't look backwards. It feels like someone's knifing you in the neck with every turn, sometimes with every breath. That's
a pretty easy fix.
Sometimes that's a one and done. People think I walk on water sometimes when those come in. Something a little bit more crazy. So you have like a car accident. I don't know what's going on lately, but we've had like 5 car accidents in the past month around here.
People drive like crazy.
Yeah,
down here. It's like Connecticut, Massachusetts with a little bit of Manhattan thrown in.
Yeah, very aggressive. So somebody who comes in with like a whiplash type of injury, unfortunately those are like 6 to 8 weeks sometimes. You got some sprains, strains of like, these deep cervical neck flexor muscles there. So you got to rehab them a little bit. You got to give them some love, a little heat, little TENS, a little TLC there. And eventually they do heal. But you want to make sure that all of those fibers, because a whiplash injury is sometimes where they tear even a little bit, and you want them to re-heal in the proper direction. Otherwise you have much worse problems in the long run there. And then lastly, you can have like disc herniations. A disc herniation is basically you've got bones in the spine and then there's a disc in between them. It acts as a shock absorber. And
we see those pretty frequently.
Yeah, sometimes, if you get hit in the top of the head, like from like a rollover, a compression or something like that, or, you dive into a pool. I've had that happen before, where you herniate a disc in the neck, and then next thing you know, you're getting a pinched nerve and your whole arm is going numb, or you can't raise your arm above your head or something along those lines. A little bit more severe, and obviously we take those ones very, very seriously because time is of the essence. If you see a qualified practitioner who knows what they're doing within about a year, you can usually resolve about 80% of those cases. But when you're past about 5 years, it kind of is what it is, unfortunately. So we want to get people in as quickly as possible so we can get them under a plan and really try to get their life back on that.
Yeah, and I would say we're pretty successful with most of the cases that we see. There's the occasional that, like you said, it's just been going on for a long time, and there's, some structural issues that we, as good as we are at our jobs, we can't help you regrow bone or cartilage or
regrow a severed nerve or something.
Yeah, there are limits to our superpowers, unfortunately. But I would say we see cases together fairly regularly, and people definitely get better faster with both modalities as opposed to just one. We noticed that in school together. We are the chiropractic school and the acupuncture school shared a campus. That's where we met. And I lured him in with food. I cooked for him. That's how it happened.
Good cook.
So we noticed that our patients were getting better faster with both modalities as opposed to just one or the other. So we really wanted to offer that together in our clinic. And we're just at a massage today, which we're very excited about, which is kind of like the cherry on top. So basically what Dr. Brian does is he realigns the spine and gets everything situated. And I go in and reduce the inflammation, increase the circulation to promote healing. And that really allows the body to, in most cases, fix itself for things like neck pain, back pain, even anxiety and stress. It's amazing what an adjustment and acupuncture can do for stress and anxiety, depression. You know, and sometimes it's just a little bit of like taking care of yourself, right? It's like self-care isn't selfish. We see people who will drop money on their kids but won't drop money on themselves. Like you really do have to take care of yourself. You know, get a massage once a month, take a mental health day. You know, those sort of things. You know, it's the body's not designed to run on empty, which I know very well from chasing my 2 toddlers. So these are just a couple of things that acupuncture and chiropractic can treat together. We definitely encourage people to seek out a qualified acupuncturist and chiropractor for many, many health conditions. What are some other health conditions? We just talked about pain. We lightly touched on anxiety and stress, but what are some things that we see generally together? Any kind of pain, right? Neck pain, back pain, headaches is a big one.
Osteoarthritis is a big one.
Osteoarthritis of the hip or knee, which is one of the things that acupuncture is best studied for.
Yep.
We also see
Bursitis.
tendonitis.
Yep, any kind of inflammatory condition of, like, say, a muscle or a tendon. That includes plantar fasciitis as well.
Yep. So golfer elbow, tennis elbow.
Headaches.
Sinus issues, too. A lot of allergies.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
And you'd be surprised what a good adjustment could do for allergies, too.
Or acupuncture. It blows those sinuses wide open.
It really does. We have red light therapy here, too. So that's another modality that we can use if the sinuses are really inflamed and infected.
And good for chronic pain as well.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just need an antibiotic, too. I mean, we've all been there. Mm-hmm. But these 2 things really, really help just keep everything nice and clear. So hopefully you don't get to the point where you need an antibiotic. Mm-hmm. Other things that we see together, I'm drawing a blank.
Silence.
It's at the end of our day, so
we've been at this since about 7 o'clock this morning. So
yeah, and then now it is 4:45, and it's just about time to pick up our kids. But we do see a lot of different things together. I do see a lot of digestive things, and you know what? It's a great thing to talk about is pregnancy.
That is a good one.
Because so when we were pregnant with our first, I was just having a lot of pelvic pain. And my husband went and took the Webster
classes, yes.
Yes, the Webster technique, which is a chiropractic technique to help release everything. So I'm not going to be technical here. You say it. You say it better.
Yeah, thank you. Let me be specific on this one. Webster technique is a specific gentle technique for prego mamas who have typically it's used for babies who are in the breech position, but it's really used to align the pelvis. If you think of the uterus as basically a hammock or a sling, it's got several attachment sites all throughout the pelvic girdle. And if the pelvis is like rotated or torqued in such a way,
it hurts.
Well, you can get round ligament pain, you can get pelvic pain, you can get all kinds of stuff. And I'll talk about this for a little bit longer. And basically what happens is it torques the uterus and it allows or it prevents the baby from kind of flipping or going head down naturally. And so, like, let me just be very clear. Like, what Webster is not obstetrics. That's, where they do the manual cephalic aversion, where they literally turn the baby like that. We're not doing that kind of stuff. We're just removing the tension on the uterus by realigning the pelvis, and baby does all the work by themselves. I've actually done chiropractic techniques on people where they walked out of the office, like they were on their way walking up to the front desk, and all of a sudden they felt, their little kiddo actually flip over. And it was actually kind of a funny story. That happened several times when my wife was pregnant with both of our children. And the last one with our little daughter there, she just did not want to stay head down. She was flopping around like a fish in the sea in there, and I had to do it. Probably
it was like watching a watermelon roll around. She would not stay still.
It was like 20 times, I think, right?
Oh,
But
She kept me up at night.
eventually she did settle down and she did go head down. She stayed head down. I think I adjusted her the day that we delivered. And the last second, just whoop, and then kind of out she came.
Yeah. And she was breached. Did you tell them that? She was breached for a while.
Transverse breach for a while there. Now, that's one of the most difficult ones to do. Now, transverse is when they lay across instead of just head up. The one that's head up is usually is a little easier to help with, but the ones that are transverse across, that you got a lot of muscle work to do with that one. So,
But she moved.
yeah, she's happy and healthy.
So, acupuncture and moxa is a huge modality for that. So it's an herb that we burn over the side of your little pinky toe. And it really does help with the movement of the baby. So I can attest to that because I did it twice. So, but yeah, that's a little bit about how we work together and how acupuncture and chiropractic can help everyday health issues. We are not against medicine, like Western medicine, but, we like to try to help without, if we can do the natural way as long as possible. I mean, sometimes you need a Tylenol and sometimes you need acupuncture.
Sometimes you need a hip replacement.
Yeah. They're just,
Limitations of matter sometimes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like we've had patients that were going to have a hip replacement, exploratory hip replacements, no less. And, we took them back from the brink, where they were like scheduled. And remember that one girl, she was like a month away from getting, exploratory hip surgery. And, we saved her actually, we fixed some issues that she was having and
she didn't have to have the surgery.
No surgery.
And, the same thing happens too, where people need surgery and they're not scheduled for another 5 months. And, we just kind of limp them along and help them live life as pain-free as possible until they get the surgery. And then we help them recover from the surgery too. So it's really a lot of the best of both worlds.
Or, we're qualified to make that call as well to recommend certain types of surgeries as well too. So, what was it, last week? New patient. She just moved down here, and turns out she needs hip replacement. She's got a labrum tear, and misdiagnosed about 3 different times. And finally she was petrified of chiropractors, ironically. And
I talked her into seeing him. I'm like, look at this face.
Oh, stop that! Stop that. So yeah, we got her the appropriate care. Sometimes we can facilitate people getting to the appropriate doctors and specialists quicker than a GP, because I don't know, wherever you are in the country listening to this, but sometimes seeing your PCP or GP can be a 3, 4, 5 month ordeal down here in our little town. So, we're qualified. We can get the proper imaging. Our scope of practice is, fantastic that we can make the appropriate referrals and get people to where they need to go faster.
I agree. That would be our son. I don't know what he's so excited about, but I should probably go check.
All right. Well, hope everybody enjoyed this little introduction to husband and wife team, Shoreline and Shoreline. Hope you guys are having a great day.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Bye.